Previously on Lost.
Greetings, Ron Smalek.
And Fellonius the Wizard. We're back with Previously on Lost. Season 4, episodes 7 and 8.
Yeah, we're only doing 2 this time.
Yeah, so we have to press on.
Yeah.
That's because, as we said last week, they had a writer's strike and suddenly they had to stop recording this show, and then they restarted it with number 9. And they did even have a special title for that. But we get back to that later.
Well, yeah, they did. And yeah, so these 2 are the last 2 before the writer's strike. This is also an overall shorter season. There's only, 15 episodes?
Yeah, something like that.
Or 13.
Yeah, 13. Yeah.
So we eventually we would have to do an episode where we couldn't do 3, so we thought it would be this one. And I think it actually is a good place.
Absolutely.
But before
any news from last time?
Yeah, so before we get into it, I had a couple comments on the last episode for me. In particular, I made a big error. Now, this is actually 2 episodes ago by the time you're listening to this. But
we need to correct, right?
Yeah. When Charlotte was introduced, Charlotte Staples Lewis,
Yep.
I said, I don't know how I possibly said this, but I said that C.S. Lewis wrote Alice in Wonderland. I was so stupid. That is the Narnia author, and I...
Yeah. Why didn't I? Well, I haven't read either of them. Of course not.
Narnia is the first series, the 7 books of the Chronicles of Narnia is the first series I read, a whole series back to back to back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yep. I liked the first book so much, I spent all my birthday money on a box set, and I've still got that set, and it's got a stamp in the front cover with my name on it, and I have 3 other box sets because I've read through them all so many times and rebought. And I have, I think, 4 Choose Your Own Adventure books set in Narnia.
Oh dear. You are a collector. Well, I started with Tvillingdeckarna, as you know, the twin detectives. But let's put it correctly. Who wrote Alice in Wonderland?
Oh, my goodness. I know this, and it should be at the top of my head because
Let's just do a Googling while we're talking then, because we need to set that straight.
My Wonderland map at the end, it's you're playing the author in the map.
Yeah.
Reverend Dodgson. Samuel Dodgson, something like that.
Okay.
So meanwhile, Thungon also corrected me. I think you might have corrected me in the episode, but he corrected me in the comments that Ben could not possibly be part of Oceanic 6 because he wasn't on 815.
Yes.
But did you look it up?
Nope.
Oh.
You mean
the Alice in Wonderland author.
The British author Lewis Carroll. For Charles Lutwidge. I haven't read anything from Lewis Carroll before.
Lewis Carroll. Just watch the original cartoon animated Disney with the beautiful songs and walking among the giant flowers. That's all you need.
I have started looking at that one. It was pretty boring.
Oh no. It's curious and mad and wonderful. Okay.
And you and I actually have once more of that one because you said it was curiouser and curiouser at one time, and you misspelled the second one. That is probably taken from Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah.
And we still use it now and then. It's just a thing. Okay.
Yeah,
did he have anything else?
Well, I was just going to tell you that I'm Ben's daughter.
Oh, yeah. Suddenly you can accept that one. I didn't. But that was a good ending. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Yeon is episode 7, season 4.
And I'm so glad that you can pronounce that Yeon because I didn't. I didn't even hear what they said.
Yeah. I will tell you up front, and then you can read about this one. I liked it better when I saw it the first time. It was somewhat suspenseful, but rewatching it, I have notes like boat, and then 3 lines down I have note that says boat, and then
Okay.
baby girl. Jin
Okay.
forgives. So I don't know. I have some questions, but they're not going to be like groundbreaking. So,
No,
did you like this one?
it was okay.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell us what happened in
Yes,
this one?
on the back of my DVDs. Sun is forced to deal with her past when Juliet reveals some startling news to Jin. Meanwhile, Sayid and Desmond begins to get an idea of the freighter crew's mission when they meet the ship's captain. In a flash forward, Sun experiences a pregnancy complication and struggles at the hospital waiting for Jin.
Okay.
Well, that's debatable. If anything.
Now, I feel like we could cover the whole flashback, flash forward as one statement.
This is 2 plots only, so it's the boat and it's Sun.
Yeah, yeah. And it's actually 3 timelines because Sun and Jin, Sun is we're seeing Sun's flash forward and Jin's flash back. And they're crafted such that you don't realize it at first.
Nope.
And then they come together to a point. But what they're doing doesn't really have anything to do with the boat, right?
Nope.
Well,
And
sort of.
It has not that much to do with the island as such either.
No, but it does. It does sort of make us think like, okay, how do you fill in the gaps between those two? Because let's cover it. So in the flashback, Jin is racing to get a panda bear from a toy store, and then he's racing. Somebody's calling him, or he's calling somebody. He's late. He's got to take a taxi. He loses the bear. It was actually fairly funny. I enjoyed this sequence.
Yeah. It is things that might happen.
Yeah.
Happen, actually.
And he's rushing to the hospital because somebody's about to give birth.
Yep.
And then
he doesn't know if it's a boy or a girl, and that really threw me off because I knew that he didn't know all the time.
And in parallel to this, they're telling the story of Sun's flash forward, where she's in labor. Jin's not there. She's in pain. She's on pain medicine. She's calling for Jin. She has the baby, and then you see that. Then it comes together where Jin, you find out it's a flashback because he delivers the panda to some ambassador's grandkid on behalf of.
And it's China's ambassador, so it's a big one.
And then we see Hurley in the flash forward comes to visit Sun and the baby, and they go to Jin's grave.
Yeah. And now suddenly it becomes interesting, and that's where it ends.
Yeah.
That I didn't like, actually. Because, so now we know that Jin is going to die somewhere during the next 7 months, if your normal timeline is correct.
Is he dead? Or did he just not make it off the island and they're just saying he's dead?
Yeah.
I mean,
because this might be the Jin that was buried with the false 815.
I think he is dead. I just think she wouldn't be this upset.
No. That's totally true. Because she's really into her character at this point.
Yeah.
I did have a problem with Sun and Jin in the beginning because it didn't feel like they were, they didn't fit their roles. But now season 4, they know exactly how they work, I must say.
Yeah, so Jin, I mean, I guess we could cover in the current day on the island, Jin and Sun. Basically, they're just talking about coming up with a name for the baby.
Yep, that's how it starts.
Jin wants a girl, basically.
Yeah. Well, if it's a girl, he has a name, and it's a pretty one, and we don't. Well, I'm not totally sure that I agree with him. I don't think that name is a pretty one.
Well, I think in their in Korean,
Yeah.
I don't remember what it means, but it's pretty in their language. So,
Yeon.
yeah. Now, so one issue that I have, or one question, especially for you. So you were an English teacher, right?
Yeah, I've been there.
So Jin has been on this island like 90 something days. He's
Yep.
been learning English only like the past 30.
Yeah.
His vocabulary, does it seem way too advanced for somebody who's only had a month of,
Nope.
like, he knows a lot of words that they wouldn't have come across on the island.
He hasn't spoken very, very hard words yet.
Okay.
He's actually explaining with very easy words. You have all types of value, and he's at low value and medium value. He has not used high value words as yet, not as I have heard. I've actually checked now and then as soon as he tries, and he always staggers a bit before he starts speaking. But as he says, he understands more. And that is actually how you learn a lot, because that's how I learned English when I was like 9 years old. I was sitting in front of the TV and getting all those words. Half of it I didn't understand, and suddenly just sitting there a couple of weeks or so, I suddenly understand a lot. And it was The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and all that fun stuff. So it was very strange words.
Okay.
So I would say that on the island, he has two things to do. He needs to fish and take care of Sun, and that's actually giving him a lot of time to learn English.
Okay.
So yeah, and he has no telly like I had. So
Okay. And Sun goes directly to Dan. I actually liked Sun a lot when she just straightforward goes up to him and says, "Are you guys going to rescue us?"
yeah,
She doesn't get the answer. He's hemming and hawing, so she decides we're going to join Locke.
yep,
And then Juliet, oh, I could have killed her, but she basically just tells Jin that Sun had an affair.
yep.
And
She's down at the bottom of my
yeah,
favorite list. That's really and she's never going to get up again.
yeah.
Never.
And Jin takes it very well. This is the new Jin. Like he gets it. I mean,
Yeah.
and now I'm not condoning it because I think that dragged Sun down in my opinion, but
Yeah.
the new Jin, I really was impressed.
But he did get a bit of help from Bernie.
Yeah, he goes fishing with Bernie. Bernie says Locke is a murderer.
Yep.
And it was nice. Like I like when they have two people kind of wrestling. They have two different contacts, but what one of them saying applies to both.
Yeah.
So Bernie's like, he doesn't know he's solving a problem per se, but he is. I like that.
That was the best moment in these two episodes, actually, because I really liked that. It was so easygoing, and it was relaxing, and
yeah,
he was actually being wise without knowing it.
yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
So
So Jean goes back, and they
yeah,
get together again, and that was the best part of that part.
yeah.
But
and-
as you said, no, I wouldn't kill Juliet. I would really make her anguish. Yes.
Yeah, she. I mean, the show
She
wants.
had no reason.
Well,
No,
the show wants you to understand her reason, though, which is
there is no.
she thinks that if Sun stays on the island, she'll die. But if she goes
that's-
off, she might have a chance.
Yeah, but that might be true, but that's not her decision to make.
Sure, but
It's her patience, she said. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you can go and make decisions for other people.
Yeah.
That's not your duty. You have no right to do that. She's actually violating every human right by doing that. She's actually going across that Geneva Convention by doing this. I mean, that is really bad, but it is still American, because Americans doesn't bother with Geneva Convention. So why? But still, I really disagreed with her totally.
Sure.
And she isn't her patient. Sun has never said that she went to the doctors. Actually, it was Juliet who forced Sun to come with her.
Yeah.
That's not how you make patience in my world.
Yeah. Well,
There was no reason. There was no reason. You can try as much as you want.
I agree. And Ben has rubbed off on Juliet.
Yeah.
Juliet is taking the manipulative way instead
Yep.
of appealing to other methods. But they're in a rush. I don't know. That's what the show wants us to understand, even if we don't agree with it. So I
There's
think
no way you can agree with it because
no.
it's about human rights. It has nothing to do with the rights of an unborn baby.
Yeah.
That's where the abortion people probably suddenly will go totally ballistic, but that's their problem.
So that's Sun and Jin, and then Yeon. I don't. From where we are now, I don't really see if Yeon is going to be important in the future, or if this is the end of Sun's story.
Might be, might be.
You know what I mean? Like, we know Jack still has more story because he wants
Yeah.
to go back. I feel like Sun and Hurley are not going back to the island.
No, but Sun is one of the Oceanic Six.
Yes, so now, okay, yeah, that's a good point. So we have Jack and Kate for sure, Hurley
Yep.
and Sun for sure.
And Saeed. Well, I'm not sure about Saeed anymore.
I'm not sure, yeah, if he's official or if he's under the radar. And then maybe
He's-
Aaron?
Oh.
Aaron must
Yeah,
be.
he was a passenger of the Oceanic Six, yeah.
Yeah, he must be. And then whoever's in the coffin, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's Saeed. Anyway, we'll get back to that. So, on the island, besides Sun and Jin, they talk about the fact that in the last episode, that they neutralized the poison gas factory, and it wasn't actually a power plant after all.
Nope.
So I don't understand. This I didn't understand the first time. I don't understand it now. Why is there a poison gas factory on the island?
Well, we do get some sort of answer in the next episode, but because we are
do?
talking about Widmore's ideas.
But
Um,
But Dharma would Dharma have built a gas factory? Like I thought it was a power plant that had just happened to also, as like a side effect, create this gas. But
yeah, that might
I
be true.
find it hard to believe Dharma would create a poison gas factory. Why would they?
They might have it as some sort of defense system against whatever powers there are on this island, but
Yeah.
it's a bit of a shot, actually.
It seems like unless that comes back. So obviously that's the gas that Ben used as a kid.
Yeah.
But unless it comes back in the future, it seems like that was just a convenient way to show what the real mission was.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway,
Dharma is a bit of a mystery overall because we are also going back to Dharma invented the sanctuary, the temple. We'll get back to that later on.
I hope so. Obviously we must because everyone's apparently going there.
Yes, that's the downtown. Otherwise, there weren't much on the island. Kate shows Sun and Jin a very long way to the barracks. That keeps me down a bit because I'm talking about they are running to each other like they were neighbors. Thanks, Kate. You did something right in one episode of 4 seasons. I think that's... Well, she is above Juliet now, so why not?
Oh.
I'm going to have a hit list. I'm going to have the top 10 of lost characters or something like that, and
Yeah.
I'm going to show everyone. And at the moment, Juliet has put concrete shoes on, and she's at the bottom.
Really? Wow. I don't.
How you can sink below Kate is a mystery, but she did it. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Never mind.
So I forget who it was. I think it might have been Dungan or Baker Bell actually, like who mentioned we do a lot of Kate bashing on the show and that Juliet wasn't necessarily a wicked person, even though she, manipulated. But I remember we had that talk about, is she a bad guy or not?
Yeah.
So now you definitely think she is.
let's put it down to a culture problem, because I'm from a country where men and women are totally equal. We are as equal as you can be. But in America, I know that there's still housewives, and I can't accept the fact that there are housewives, because is that a profession? Now that I would accept, because I don't think that housewives should be. It's not a real work. It's just keeping track of the house and stuff.
But
And that
okay,
always
I'll.
ends up, let me just finish this point. It always ends up on the lady of the house. Now, I would love to be a housewife. I'm not saying that. If it's a profession that you can do, I would love to be a housewife. And then I would spend my time playing games and making videos and stuff. I would totally love that. But in Sweden, we don't have that at all, and that's not acceptable. As housewife is gone, it's totally gone. If you're saying you are going to be a housewife, they are going to laugh their asses off, because that's gone.
But
So to me, women are not that stupid as Kate is, because Kate is actually acting like a stupid housewife, and that's not the women I meet. I meet lots of intelligent women that don't go around doing totally bad stuff. And now Juliet is in the same bag, and that's also a woman.
well,
Now, men, on the other hand, let me finish, please. Men, on the other hand, will do these things, even in Sweden. They are totally, I will say that 95% of the Swedish men are totally dumbasses. Don't, I'm probably one of them. I'm not totally sure. I'm going between the teams, so to speak, but not the women. And perhaps I am wrong, because I'm seeing it from my Swedish perspective. Now, your turn.
well, so I'll say, okay, in a lot of houses, there's only one person who works full time, and the other person will stay home for the kids or for whatever.
Yeah.
And if they are truly keeping up the house, I won't say housekeeper, but keeping up the house,
Yeah.
watching kids, getting them to and from here and there, cooking, cleaning, like laundry every day.
Yeah.
That is a really hard and 24/7 job.
Yeah.
And that is what I think of when you say like a housewife. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've been home, and there's no end of things I could do around here instead of playing games. So
Okay.
for those, I mean, I think that you couldn't pay. I think people who are housewives should be paid double whatever their spouse is making, and
Yeah.
that traditionally, yes, it was women, but nowadays men can be it, women can be it. It's not really.
That is so comfortable to hear, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you a lot, Ron.
Yeah, yeah. No, a lot of times in today's economy, you can't do that. Both parents have to work, and then it's hard to really keep up with all that. But anyway,
Yeah, thanks a lot, because I'm dealing with that problem as well now and then when I hear about states. And it feels like the states are trying to confirm the 60s
Yeah.
and keep it down there. And Donald Trump is one of the problems, of course.
oh dear.
Yeah.
There
Thanks a
are
lot.
plenty of people who still think that way, but
Yeah.
I would go so far as to say the current generation of kids probably will grow up not really thinking that way, or the next one, like, I think it'll be
Good.
rare
Very-
because, yeah.
Very good, America. Very good.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going through this is kind of worth saying, and it's not anything about loss, but we're kind of going through this revolution where we're going too far on the equality side,
Yeah.
and it will swing. And I'm not saying too far because I'm opposed to it, but we tend to overreact, and
Yeah.
every day the conversation comes up, people are talking about gender equality. Like,
Yeah.
it is a buzzword. It's being abused and
Yeah.
and taken too far. It'll swing back. It always does, and it'll even out. So anyway,
And Sweden as well, I must say.
but we're talking about 2004
Yeah.
on an
You see
island.
why I am bashing Kate and why I will keep on bashing Kate, because the things she do is not really how I thought women would think. First of all, and I'm not thinking myself. I wouldn't do what she does, and I'm not a clever person. I'm not reaching 100 in IQ even. At least in one test I did. Tests are not good, but still, I got 99. That really bothered me about. But still, I wouldn't do what Kate does, and I don't see other women do what Kate does. It doesn't matter that she's been hunted all her life or anything like that. I don't see people do that, but perhaps she's playing a part, of course, that Elizabeth, whatever her name was. I don't even bother to learn her name. That's how bad I feel about Kate. I'm sorry, Baker Bell. If you can prove me wrong, you're up for it.
My problem with Kate is that she is sometimes so independent, but a lot of times they depict her as like this puppy dog who is gonna just kiss with the man she's in front of, and she's so torn about these two guys, but she never does anything about it. Jack and Sawyer are both reacting and doing things and pushing her away, and she's not even trying to decide. That's the part that bothers me.
And she is still going with the side she's on for the moment. Like she says to Son, Jack's not going to like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever. How do you know what Jack will or not will do? I mean, come on. But she is on Jack's side now. She has to use Jack as some,
So, on the boat.
Yeah, please. I love the boat.
Again, my comments are boat up until the part where Regina jumps in.
Yep, Regina is sick, and she's even holding her book upside down.
Yeah,
I really like that one. And we hear that the captain is not very good people to be with.
Yeah, and is she supposed to be having the same issue that Minkowski, or she's just having some different issue?
No, if I've understood it right, they are too close for comfort, close to the island. They shouldn't be there. They should have been a bit further out.
Okay.
And Sam is actually reacting to this. So, because someone, we don't know who, has sabotaged their engines, they are now drifting towards the island, and as some of them are reacting to that. That's how I understood it.
Yeah, and she basically commits suicide, and none of the other people on the boat really flinch, except, of course, Desmond and Saeed. I'm not a big fan of the boat stuff in general. I think they spent too much time.
It shows something that we haven't seen in a while again. We haven't seen it before when it comes to Saeed. He has a patience of a horse. He can just stand there, chewing, waiting. And when the time is right, he gives them a kick. I really like that. Desmond, however, he feels totally out of character on the boat.
Well, as soon as he got there, he started having his weird flashbacks. So it's kind of hard to judge that for me.
But he's on the boat because he knows something about Vidmore. So we are getting back to him later on.
Well, maybe my problem with the boat is that I look at this and I'm thinking of like a small boat.
Yep.
And that maybe there's like 5 people. But there's we keep seeing more people on the boat in the background. And the fact that somebody was able to sabotage the radio, the engines, and the kitchen, so the only thing they can eat is lima beans, is come on, how could they not know who it was? The crew's not that big.
I'm totally with you on that one.
and the captain has them locked in a room. They come on the boat, they get locked in a room for 3 days before the captain comes to see them. What was he doing? The boat's not moving.
He was trying to confirm who is with me and who is not with me, because there's some sort of internal struggle on this boat. And I shouldn't trust the doctor yard, actually. If I were the captain of this ship, I would actually keep on the shooting guys. They are okay. They're on my side. The rest of them is totally, including Kevin Johnson. They are not certain. And anyone who is trying to stop Regina from jumping or anything like that, or is trying to escape the boat, they are not on his side. He has almost got himself into a mutiny.
Yeah, it's a weird atmosphere. And then there's these army guys who are just skeet shooting and having a fun time waiting around, and they don't seem to care what else is. It's just a weird. The boat is too strange for me.
Yeah, but then you have to agree about the captain. When he suddenly meets Des and Said, he's actually being totally honest about things, doesn't he?
So,
They tell him about saboteur of the engines.
yeah.
And they need to move. And he's also he also tells them about Charles Widmore, and you know him. He tells them about the black box of the phony 815.
Yeah. So,
But here is the twist.
Yeah.
The captain claims that it is Ben who has made that false 815.
and that's why, and that's one of the reasons they're coming after him.
Yes.
Which,
Now, I bought that. I totally bought it until I suddenly realized, hold it, Ben. Now, this must have cost a lot of money.
like 3.2 million.
Or more. Good thinking. So, how can Ben stage that big thing? Does he really have that much money? He's not that old. I mean, how does he earn his money on regular basis? And if he has staged the false 815, that's why he can't just buy a new submarine or something like that. I don't totally.
Well,
it must have cost a lot. Now,
Well, there's two possibilities. Either he was able to tap into the people behind Dharma, the foundation that created Dharma, or money doesn't matter to Ben. If the island needs something done, it provides whatever's needed.
okay. Well, we are getting some other answers in the next episode.
Yeah, so this one, we see the black box, and then we see the room they get put in has blood on the wall, like someone killed himself, and we meet Michael's back. So,
yay! Kevin Johnson is Michael, or Michael is Kevin Johnson.
Were you happy to see him, or?
Nope.
No, I wasn't either.
And there was a lot of things wrong with that, but luckily we get to meet Kevin Johnson in the next episode.
Well, where's Walt? I mean, at this point, so it makes me think, okay, did Michael have enough time to get back to the States or wherever, then somehow start working for Ben, then get hired on this boat? Like, it seemed like it would have been very rushed, like within a matter of weeks.
4 weeks tops.
Yeah,
I would say.
And where's Walt? Or did he, like, remember I was saying maybe Walt and Kevin got picked up by the freighter directly, but then that wouldn't explain.
Nope.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it would explain why he's there under a false name, but then where's Walt? Like, it just feels like the timing's not right.
No, and there's a lot of space between the point of outside the island and New York. They have to fly them there and stuff. Well,
yeah. So, anything else on this one? I don't really have anything else on this episode.
No, but it's funny that we don't agree on the boat. I really like this boat because there's a lot of people aboard, and we don't meet them that much. I have high hopes for Regina, but well, that just.
I think I just personally underestimate the scope of the boat. Like, I literally feel like it's I see it's a freighter, but like, I feel like there's just a handful of people and it shouldn't be this much stuff going on.
No, but I also talked about where's the army.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of people on the boat.
Yeah,
but it's a scientific thing to just go ashore, and you don't know what you're ending up. They send Halliday and the others first.
Yeah.
They are the first ones, and then the others are going to come in and clean up the mess, so to speak. But who is going to kill Ben? Well, that's something for us to know yet.
Yeah. So shall we move on to
Yep.
meet
This
Kevin
one,
Johnson?
yes, meet Kevin Johnson. This one should be a short one. Let's see. I'm just trying to adjust my eyes. I don't have the right glasses. One moment.
Well, while you're doing that, I think there's two. This one again. All of these episodes so far in this season have had very small scope, like one
Yeah.
plot, maybe two.
This one is even smaller.
Yeah, this one has a tiny bit on the island, and
Yep.
then a lot of Michael flashbacks. Pretty much all Michael flashbacks.
Yeah, but they need to just fill in the gap of those 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, and there's so much that happens, and there's some stuff that's alluded to happening. I don't think it's 4 weeks. It feels like it's like 2 years, if you ask me.
Yeah, but no, well, we'll see, because I'm not really sure where I could put Tom on this one chronologically. Okay, let's start reading. Locke holds a meeting promising no more secrets. At meeting's end, Ben urges his daughter Alex to flee Locke's camp with Rousseau and Carl in order to survive an impending attack. Saeed and Desmond confront Michael on the freighter and discover how he ended up there.
Yep.
So I guess that when they say to Michael, "Why are you here and how did you get here?" we are seeing the flashback.
Yeah. So, and I think that worked pretty well from a camera story perspective. Should we do the island stuff, or do you want to do Michael's flashback first?
No, I want to save the island stuff.
Okay. So
Let's do Michael. He's most boring.
so I'm gonna I'm gonna talk about what's not in the episode really quickly. So, assumedly, Michael and Walt get back to the States.
Yep.
Now that must take a little while, a week or two.
Yeah,
It
well, at
has
least a week.
Okay. So then he gets there, and they didn't tell. They snuck in. They didn't tell anyone how they got there, who they were. But he went to his mom's, which is Walt's grandma.
Yeah.
She starts looking after the boy, and I guess Michael tells Walt that he killed 2 people.
He might actually have done that on the little boat while they were traveling from the island. And that's really bad. I agree with his mother about that.
Yeah, and she basically kicks Michael out and won't let him see the boy anymore. Which, okay, fine. That feels pretty fresh, like it just happened. But then Michael's...
And because of Walt's reaction towards Michael about killing other people, he's actually getting a very... well, let's call it a very soggy conscience suddenly, and he feels like, I'm a bad person, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, and it has to also be because he was, because he does feel bad, right?
Yeah.
Now...
he's seeing Libby. He's not seeing Ana Lucia.
Well...
he's seeing Libby, isn't it?
Yeah. So he tries to crash a car, and he ends up in the hospital, and he sees Libby, and the whole time... I had this thought that this is fake. He's not actually Libby is there. He's in a fake hospital. They're trying to trick him like a But no, I think it was
more straightforward than that.
Yeah. And he tries to shoot himself. The gun doesn't work. All of these different things. The island isn't going to let him kill himself.
He's not through. He hasn't done all his work yet.
Which is like, well, wait a minute, then why did Ben let him leave? Like, I mean, this is all part of Ben's plan.
Sort of, yeah. Because
seems.
Ben knows that the island needs more of him. Or at least that's what we are supposed to believe. I'm not totally sure. I haven't got that idea. But he also needs to keep his promises. If Ben promises that they can leave the island... yes, they need to leave the island. And as you probably already know, there is a lot of people who is leaving the island being on the other side and so on. And as also Tom says later on, it's not that he's going back to the island. He's just going to be on the boat outside because they can't get to the outside anymore because the submarine is gone.
Yeah, so here's like... the thing I don't get. So then how did Tom get off the island.
Exactly. That must have happened before they shot him. They killed him.
Yeah, and then he came back to the island, but also that means Ben knew the boat was coming way before Naomi and Desmond.
And if we go back and watch episodes from, I think it's from the beginning of season 3, Tom has never left the island. He's always there. In almost any scene, he's there.
Yeah.
And still, during that time, he also needs to be in New York.
Yeah. So this is where there's this person who took every episode of Lost, cut all the scenes, and put them in chronological order. This is the part that I want to go watch because I'm pretty sure it's not doable, but the show just wants you to not pay too close attention. But it was hard. So also, like you said, Tom shows up in New York. He basically recruits Michael.
Yep. And
I just feel like Tom's character is acting very different than he does on the island.
Yes.
While he's in New York, Michael sees the fake 815 on the TV.
Yes.
And Tom says that Widmore put it there.
Yeah, suddenly. And that makes more sense if it comes to money, because Widmore has had a lot of more opportunities to gather things and stuff. But why would he do it?
Well, I think he doesn't want the...
Hold it. He doesn't know where the 815 went down. He might guess, but he's nowhere near. He can't have any idea of where it went down. Right. He's just guessing it's close to the Dharma Island.
But he wants to find it. Well, I think he knows. Somehow he knows. He wants to find it, but keep it to himself to exploit the island.
Yeah. If he knows that it went down close to the Dharma Island, yes. But he can't really know that, can he? And now that's also something about this Dharma incident. How long before they found the wreckage? Well, we now know that Michael is back home, and he hasn't told anyone about this on the Oceanic 815. So let's say that Mr. Widmore or Ben, whoever, has had 60, 70 days? Perhaps even more, to do this thing. Bringing up an old 777 Boeing, making all these bodies, 324 bodies and all that stuff, sinking down. Doing that in 70 days is not implausible in any way, but it feels like you have to have the resources to just start it when it happens.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it takes at least 2 days just to imagine, the 815 is gone.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I'm not totally sure. The timing, and then I start to think about what you've said about different timelines. Perhaps the time we have is actually longer on the island and shorter in the real life, or on the opposite side.
I agree with that.
Because we know there's a time difference. That we know.
Yeah, I do definitely agree with that. And maybe that's how Tom's able to get back and forth. Maybe he actually left the island before the events where like there's a jump. I mean, I still don't think it's been... My crazy theory has been proven false that there's two timelines. One where Ben put the plane there, one where Widmore put the plane there.
Yeah.
One where the freighter is Penny and one where the freighter is her dad.
That would be fun.
Although I think it's not true because they haven't hinted at it, and they would have been hinting at it a lot by now. So,
but the time difference between the stuff, you are counting days on the island, and that might actually be very well. They are 24 hours, perhaps, but on the outside, it might actually be 48 hours or even worse.
That's what happens when you go to Narnia. You can grow up, become a king and queen, and then when you come back, it's the moment you left.
Yeah, that's one way.
flashback to tie that
And
all
that would
together.
also keep us, but yeah, that's why they sent Walt outside. We haven't seen the kids from the Oceanic 815 either.
Well, we did see them when Jack was
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
cages,
that's
though.
true. Them
So
still.
Tom recruits Mike to kill everyone on the freighter.
Yeah.
Now, by the end of this episode, all the scientists are off the freighter. The army
Yep.
guys are off the freighter. So
Yep.
it seems like he's missing his window to do that.
Yeah.
Miles knows that Michael is not Kevin,
Yep.
and Michael has a bomb. He's
Yep.
going to blow up the ship. I think he's going to do it early, and then a note pops up and says, "Not yet," which means Ben, like, somehow knows that he's going to do it early.
Yep.
And then Walt calls Michael on the boat. Walt calls the boat. Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's not Walt, it's Ben.
No, it's Ben, of course. And it's actually that pieces together pretty well because he's just out of surgery, Ben. I think I see that he has the clothes that he had when he walked very slowly with the stick.
Yep. Yeah, good point.
So that actually fits well,
Yep.
I would say.
And he wants, of course, a list of names.
Yeah, of course. He always wants a list of names. Why not? And stop the engines.
Yep.
And finally, something that makes sense.
Yep.
Because if you stop the engines, they cannot enter or come closer to the island. However, the island has already made sure that it's going to go either way. Now, Ben doesn't control the island. We need to remember that. Ben may think that he does what the island wants, but the island also has a will, and it's not always Ben's will.
Yep. Yep. So
So,
it's weird because, I mean, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but
yeah.
so watching this episode, and we're like a little more than halfway through season 4, I'm sitting here going like, wait, doesn't this happen like next season? Like,
No, but it fits, actually. It fits very well. I would say that they are going on idle at the moment.
well, the thing that happens at the end of this episode, I remember that being very tied in with like the finale. I
Okay.
just feel like it came too quickly, and I didn't remember something else that happened. But anything else on the boat?
Yeah. Well, the boat is on idle. That's the part that is going on and on and on, and there's nothing is actually happening until the end of that episode, because suddenly Saeed and Des just takes Mike to the captain and tells him he's a traitor. I mean, that was the second best moment in these two episodes.
You know
It's the
what?
best.
You're right. That was I was like cheering
I
for
was-
Saeed.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Saeed has a patience like a horse, and suddenly he just kicks. And he kicks bad. Oh, I really love that. So Saeed is way up on the top. By the way, now, and Mike doesn't, and the captain doesn't say anything, and suddenly we are changed. We are not going to see more of that. What? I wanted to see the rest. Oh, suddenly something happens. But that's the last we see of the boat.
Yeah, except that Kimi and the army guys they leave the boat and they go on a mission.
What?
Yeah, remember he tells Frank, don't be late. He's got to fly them somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
I didn't see the helicopter rise, so...
No, it kind of happened off camera.
Yeah. By the way, there wasn't 2 helicopters from the start when they were in Fiji. There is only 1 helicopter, so Frank dropped Naomi off.
Was there 2 helicopter landing pads?
Yes, there still was 2 helicopter landing pads, but there was only 1 chopper on the ship.
Okay.
Fiji. And, well, outside of Fiji, I should say, because Frank is coming up towards Mike and talk to him about women or whatever it was. Not sure. And there's still only one shopper on the deck.
Okay.
They might have one put down in the cell, down somewhere in the ship, but I doubt that because shoppers are needed up front. So now we know that it's totally irrelevant, but Frank dropped Naomi off. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing that happens in parallel, like you said at the beginning, Ben sends Alex, Carl, and Danielle towards the temple.
Yes.
And I remember the Carl thing, but I, again, didn't think it happened this early, where he gets shot.
Yeah.
And I was completely surprised when Danielle got shot.
Yeah. And they are with muffler shots as well. There are silencer on them, which I was thinking, I haven't seen a silencer on this island.
No, I mean, I think it's the army guys from the boat. But
it feels like it, yeah.
And it makes me think, so did Ben know that they were going to get attacked and purposely send Carl and Danielle to get killed off?
Oh,
so
I'm not totally sure. Yeah.
Have Alex all to himself. I mean, I did not get that impression.
Nope.
But that's the kind of scheme that, like, every time Ben sends somebody to do something, he already knows what's going to happen to them.
Yeah, more or less. And that's when he says this to the group, I was thinking, Danielle, it's your call.
Exactly.
You're going to decide this, not him. And she goes with Ben, and I said, okay, that's something I didn't anticipate. Right? Well, if you say so, Mother, you're the boss.
And then you see Alex is pretty smart, though, because, like, she's probably about to get shot, except that she exclaims, I'm Ben's daughter. And that,
and if that is the bad guys, the army guys, then they have something to negotiate with Ben. That's good. And if it's the temple guys, which it also can be, that is also something. Then it's a good thing.
Well, why would they just start shooting? You know.
Well, Carl has been a traitor, and Danielle is not to be trusted.
Yeah. Now, do you think Danielle's done? Is that the end of her story?
Good thinking.
I hope not.
I wrote that like this: Carl's dead. Danielle might be dead.
Yeah, I feel like she's actually too important to be dead. Like, we didn't get to ever see her flashback, but Carl, he was pretty much used up.
And we also see that really Alex wanted Carl to survive, and that's good feelings. That's nice. But that whole scene was a very good ending of an episode. That's a really cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And then we get the boat as a separate cliffhanger as well. I really like that. And now that I know what happened later on in the States, I was thinking, this is a good time to just do some rethinking, rebooting. So we actually made a good call taking these 2 episodes apart from the rest of them, actually. So we can start afresh.
Well, and it's going to allow us to basically next week cover 3, which is 9, 10, 11, the shape of things to come. So it's basically the writers telling us that they're setting the tone for the rest. And then episode 10 is Something Nice Back Home, which I don't have any guesses there.
Nope, I don't know.
And 11 is Cabin Fever, which I hope is a Jacob episode.
Ooh. I don't, because cabin... Oh, you mean that type of cabin, but I was thinking more of the boat cabin fever. They said that Regina had some sort of cabin fever.
Double entendre maybe.
Who knows? But, and we don't know if they have been out in a dinghy or a rubber boat or something like that, the others either. We don't really know.
No, so now in the show they go on hiatus, and we'll come back next week and we'll pick up with these 3 and then the finale.
Yeah, that was quick.
It really feels quick, and that's where I'm saying, like, That's why I feel like this stuff happened later because this season was so short.
Yeah, it really breaks off. But, well, that's how it is. We can just live and learn by it.
I'm glad though. I mean, honestly, like we spent so much time with the tailies.
Yeah.
If we spent that much time on one boat, I would get really, really irritated. It,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. In parallel, I'm watching the show called Fear the Walking Dead,
Okay.
and they're in season 2, and I think there's been 4 episodes. All of them are taking place on a boat,
Oh, dear.
and I'm like, get off the boat already. There's only
You
so
don't
much.
like boats.
Well, there's only so much story you can tell on a boat. I mean,
Mutiny on the Bounty. You don't need to see any else.
exactly, exactly. They're gonna come to shore. They're gonna meet another boat. Someone's
Yeah.
gonna almost drown. Like, there's not that
There
much
is
that can
actually
happen.
one more boat that we all love, and that's Captain Hook's
Sure, I
in Peter
guess.
Pan.
Uh,
Okay. Well, that's us then.
yeah, yeah. I think so. I did go back through our like old wonderings and predictions and kind of took some off my list that have already come through.
Yep.
I don't think we need to cover them, but
No.
just did a refresh of that, and yeah, I guess that's it. We'll see you guys in episode 9.
Absolutely. Bye.